like to welcome everybody to the grand reopening of the Potomac Library. Great to have everybody here. How long have we been shut down, Gary?
Too long.
Too long. Again, I want to welcome everybody. I'm David Dice, Director of Montgomery County's Department of General Services, and it has been our distinct honor and pleasure to refurbish the Potomac Library. We've had some real pills of libraries in doing this over the course of the years, but I'm told by my staff this one was a real delight and a real pleasure, and I'm going to let you recognize the team that worked on that in just a few moments. But again, this is the lucky number 13th library that we have refurbished over the last 10 years. Or 12 years or thereabouts, and still got one more to go before we turn around and do it all over again. It's amazing. In fact, we've had some of these libraries around long enough that we're now going to be looking at refurbishing and refreshing some of those that you think are still new, like the Rockville and Silver Spring libraries, but they're not anymore. But we're going to be much better about staying on top of refreshing our libraries. And for those of you who love rec centers too, we're going to start doing the same thing with Montgomery County Recreation Centers. So it's an exciting time in Montgomery County to see all the work that's being done. Before I give you some general topics about things to look for while you're here, by the way, since we weren't sure of the weather, normally we do this outside, but isn't this great? Look at this. This is fantastic. Bright, it's light, it's great, and we're excited to be able to show it to you. I want to recognize the folks that are here with us today, some of whom you'll hear from, some of them you'll actually enjoy hearing from. I'm not telling you which ones are which. County Executive is with us, County Executive Marc Elrich. County Council President Evan Glass, Vice President and District 1 Council Member Andrew Friedson, who, by the way, tells me this is his library and that this is where he learned to read. Was it like 2 months ago?
Some days better than others.
Yeah, exactly. District 5 Council Member Kristen Mink, who's also Council Lead for Libraries, right here. At-large Council Member Gabe Albornoz joined us. And then I think the entire District 16 delegation is here. Isn't that true? Yes. All right, let's hear for delegates Mark Corman, Sarah Love, Ariana Kelly. I saw her. Where'd she go? There she is. Senator Kelly, excuse me, and Sarah Wolick. Sarah. There you are. You snuck up on me. Oh, Lori Ann Sales, where'd she go? Oh, there she is, standing right in front of me. Hi, council member. I'll take my chair. Take my chair. Come on, come on. That way they can stare at you. All right. So, also Director of Libraries, Anita Vassallo, is Anita's right here. And I believe we have the Potomac Library Advisory Committee. Lou is, oh, there she is. All right, great. So we'd like to welcome all of these people here. Now, before I invite County Executive Marc Elrich to come forward, this is my opportunity to sneak in some thanks to the crew that made all of this happen, because they really are the heroes today. They put a lot of stuff and a lot of work in together to produce this. So I'm going to start by recognizing the design team from the Department of General Services and Building Design. Hamid Omidvar is... There he is over there. Randy Hawkins, the studio chief under which this takes place, over here. And the guy who is Mr. Refurbishment. And he is always running around. I don't see him right now because he's probably tweaking a valve somewhere. There he is, Gary Colton. Our contractor, I don't know, did Zeba make it today? Did we? There, okay. Our contractor is CDCI, Zeba Parsa. This woman works miracles. She does great work, and their company's done fine work for us. Hughes Architect Group is represented by Gavin Myers, Jeff White, and John Spence, all over here. And I wanted to give a special recognition and shout out. You guys don't realize what happens here. When these guys do these projects, they tell me to stay away, because when I always show up, the scope of work changes. But I was here a couple of months ago, walked the job site with Gary and Randy, and pointed out some things that I knew Mark was going to find, and I'm waiting, because at some point during this morning, he's going to come up to say and point to some obscure thing and say, "Did you notice that?" And we probably didn't. But so I come out here, and so these guys are always working hard at the last minute, and when they're done, then my facilities team shows up. And they showed up here last night at 4:30, and we're here until about 9 o'clock, cleaning and vacuuming and dusting and wiping. And I'm not sure if she's here. Is Leslie Clark here? I didn't see Leslie. But when everyone asks, am I happy, my question is Leslie happy? If Leslie's happy, I'm happy. So a shout out to Department of General Services Facilities Management staff. That would be meaning you do this, right? All right. The Library Refurbishment Program in Montgomery County is a nationally recognized, award-winning program that has been a pace setter, an example replicated across the United States. You guys don't realize how much happens in Montgomery County that truly is an example across the country. We lead in so many areas. And I'm going to credit a visionary and my boss who is behind an awful lot of what we do and get done, County Executive Marc Elrich. Mark?
So I'm really excited about this, and just so you know why I look at things, when I built a house myself and I was the general contractor, and so you go through and you look at everything, and then I did a refurbishment of a house 5 years ago that I moved into, and I did the same thing. So when I walk in the building, I'm looking at how are the drywall seams, are there any nail pops here? And I've become addicted to looking at buildings that way. So, David, I'm sure I'll find something as I go through here. The real visionary I want to thank for this program is actually Ike Leggett. When I was on the council, we were going through a system where we basically knocked things down and built them again. And true for rec centers, true for libraries, and we realized we would never get through the list of libraries. If you have 21 libraries and it's going to take you, you could do a library a year. The ability to do refurbishments made our dollars go a lot farther. And, if you're an environmentalist, the building you have is the most environmental building you're going to have. If you knock it down, you waste all that material, then you start again and use a whole new set of materials to accomplish what you had a shell to work with. And here, we had a shell to work with, and I think they did a remarkable job. And thanks to the architects, the designers, our staff. David has been really masterful at managing these projects, and they're really a boon to the county because we're able to do things and provide communities with facilities that they like, with improvements that they want, and we're able to do it within a decent budget. And we're able to make progress on a decent timeline. So I'm excited about this, and I'm really, really happy to be here. Under the capital improvements program, we will refurbish all 21 of the county libraries. And some people know, at least you know where some of your taxes are going when we do this. It's a great partnership we have between the county and the departments that manage this. And it's really, to me, the Friends of the Library is another great organization. It is really good to have strong community organizations that have a stake in the projects that we do and are able to articulate what it is they want. I mean, I don't know what a library ought to look like. I mean, I spent most of my time in a library when I was a 8 or 9-year-old kid in the Tacoma Park Library in DC. Libraries have changed. This library is going to have 75,000 books, but it's also going to have technology. It's going to have electronic books. So we've gone from just strictly a paper facility to a place that has record. Do you still have records? I'm going to guess CDs.
They're coming back?
Yeah, the records are coming back at great expense. But CDs and, all kinds of other materials that are electronic and not strictly on paper, and it's really, really important. We've got access to computers. We know how many people came in, particularly during the pandemic, were using the libraries when they could get into the libraries again for doing research. We know students come and do research. I used to go to either Silver Spring Library or the Wheaton Library to do research when I was in middle school and high school. So libraries are important for children, so they've got to be here, they've got to be adequately staffed, they have to have hours that serve the community, and they have to have the materials that help everybody who wants to use this library. So I'm excited about this. I think this is another special project. I think I've been to every one of the refurbishments so far, and as a council member and as executive now, and it is really delightful. People seem to be happy every time we do this. They look at the library, and I know a lot of people realize, when we started this program, there was a fear and trepidation that the refurbishments wouldn't look right and they wouldn't be right. And we've shown that we can make a refurbishment look like a new library. We can make it function like a new library, and I hope you all enjoy it. And when we're all done talking, you can take a walk around and take out your first books or multimedia loan object. I don't know which object you'll pick. But thank you all very much for being here today, and I'm excited, and I hope you are too.
When I first came to Montgomery County 15, 16 years ago, it became evident to me in some of our earliest projects that Montgomery County loves its libraries. And as Mark was just mentioning, the opportunity to refurbish and refresh local libraries. I built big libraries, but this is where your home is. This is the community. This is what the library the kids identify with. And just as an example of some of the things that we've done that you might recognize as you go, hey, this is different, but there's so much. Just a few things. These great windows that are around here, letting in a lot of natural light, we had to replace 20 of them because the film had broken and you couldn't see through them. We've installed retaining walls. And oh, by the way, when you're walking around, don't just limit yourself to the inside of the library once we cut this ribbon. Please walk around the grounds. I gotta thank the Potomac Garden Club and yeah, absolutely. The grounds around here are lovely. Understand there was some folks that showed up at the late yesterday to do some stuff, and we chased them out. I'm sorry, but we have put a lot of effort into the outside. Cut back some trees, trimmed things up, put a nice new sign out front. So walk around the outside. The library is in its entirety is not just the inside. But we can't do these projects without the assistance and support of the county council. They are the keeper of the purse strings. I just spend the money. They tell me how much I can spend. But it's always great when you have a cooperation, particularly on projects like this, that are a total buy-in from the county council and leadership in that respect. And no one exemplifies that more than the current council president, who is an advocate for not only the libraries and the community, but for many parts of our population that live in the shadows. And he is a strong advocate for them and advocating for places like libraries where the whole community is welcome. Council President Evan Glass.
Thank you, Director Dice. Good morning, everybody. Well, it is so good to see you, and I see all the kids chomping at the bit, ready to get into this library, so I'm going to be brief. I really appreciate, yes, see? I hear you. I grew up in New York, and I grew up in a home with a single mom who worked 2 jobs, which meant I spent a lot of time in libraries, particularly the East Meadow Public Library on Long Island, and I only wish it looked like this. But as Director Dice said, this can only be accomplished because of partnerships. And not only is it the council working with the county executive, but the reason we have funds available for these projects is because we also have support from our state delegation that recently, I just want to give them kudos, brought back more than $1 billion to Montgomery County. So thank you to your District 16 delegation. And that allows us to reserve other funds for these types of projects. And so as we currently go through this budget, we're going to continue making sure that we do things to support all segments of our community. But some of the most core, basic functions is making sure that there are places to read, places to learn, and places to congregate. And that's what this Potomac Library is all about. So welcome. I look forward to perusing the books with you, and thank you very much for all of your support.
As I mentioned earlier, District 1 Councilmember Friedson, he tells me this is his library. And he was delighted when I talked just before at council on Tuesday about this event. He said there was no way he was going to miss it. You'll see him in the stacks. And I think what's cool is, you know, as he grew up in Bethesda and this area, and this is his library, and I look out and see young kids here, and I wonder if the next time I'm refurbishing this library, one of you is going to be sitting up here. That's pretty neat to think about. Councilmember Friedson.
Thank you, Director Dice. As he mentioned, I grew up right down the road, actually, just on the other side of Falls Road Golf Course. Spent a lot of time at this library as a young person, and now my nieces and nephews have benefited from this library, and it looks a lot better than it did even when I was a kid. It's amazing to see the work that the DGS team has done and the libraries team have done in conjunction with the Garden Club and with the Friends of the Library volunteers. Really, this is a community-based effort. These refresh and refurbishments don't happen without the input and the engagement and the involvement of those who are actually going to take advantage of it. So just so appreciative of everything that the community has done in working with the team, and everything that the team has done, which we certainly couldn't have done it without you. Libraries are community centers. They're enrichment centers. They are learning centers. They are after-school programs. They are about connections, and they can be travel agents. In fact, you come here and you can go anywhere as a young person or as any person, and really it's what makes libraries such an integral part of this community and really of all communities, and why we feel so strongly in supporting it, and why we're so appreciative of our state partners in District 16 for their efforts, and to be able to work together with the county executive, county council, with our DGS and libraries teams to make this incredible facility possible, something that now reflects as a structure the type of activity, the type of connection that's happening in it. It's not just the Wi-Fi connections, it's not just the other connections, it's the interpersonal connections, relationships, bringing community together and providing opportunities that are virtually limitless when it comes to a library. So thank you so much for being part of this. I am so excited, and let's cut this ribbon.
I'm trying to keep them going, Councilmember Krista Mink is our lead for libraries, and I wouldn't want to do this without hearing from her as a new council member and enthusiastic supporter for libraries. Councilmember Mink.
Good morning. Good morning. If we could first, I love that I see so many kids and families here. This is who this is about. We fund and value, and we put so much into our libraries because we know that it's what you want and what you need. Your enthusiasm is what allows us to continue to drive this ship and move these funds and get these exciting projects done. So if all of you could just give yourselves a really loud round of applause, kids and families. Woo-hoo! I love libraries. I grew up in Montgomery County, and I eventually became an English teacher. So I spent a lot of time in libraries, and I still remember and still feel that feeling of excitement and possibility walking into a Montgomery County public library. I'm feeling it right now. I am so excited, so I'm going to keep it short as well. But I just really wanted to acknowledge all of you. This is who this is about. It is under your direction that we make these wonderful things happen, that our state delegation does the incredible work that they do, that our county executive and the executive branch and my colleagues on the county council who preceded me, who all got these balls in motion. It's for you and because of your direction. So thank you for being vocal advocates and passionate users of the library. And I also want to give a shout out to our librarians, the heartbeat of our libraries, who just work incredibly hard. They do infinitely more than shelving books. They are people of all trades, from helping people to find jobs, to just being crowd control, to having to know all the ins and outs of our tech spaces, to referring people to different services all over the county. They do it all, and it's because of them that libraries, much like schools, are where we meet the public in order to connect them to so many other important pieces and services of the county. So libraries, incredibly important, so special. I'm so glad that you all are here to celebrate with us today. Please continue to come back every day, read those books, and speak up about the importance of libraries, funding them, refurbishing them, and keeping them fully staffed as we move forward. Thank you so much for being here.
Former English teacher, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, English was not my strong suit, so I get a little sweaty and anxious around English teachers. There's stories to tell, but I won't tell them today. Yay! All right, so as has been mentioned, we are privileged. I think this is a first whenever we've opened a library or other buildings to have the entire delegation or the district delegation here with us today. And in the interest of time, I'm not going to have every single one of them talk. You're welcome. But I am going to ask the district senator, Ariana Kelly, and delegates Corman, Love, and Wolek to come on up, and you guys can wrestle the mic over who will talk.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm looking at those eyes out there. I'm Ariana Kelly. I'm your new senator. And we've had some changes in the... Yay, thank you. So I've been a member of the House of Delegates for the last 13 years, but as Susan Lee moved on to Secretary of State, I became your new senator, and we welcomed a new delegate, Sarah Wolek. And so on behalf of Sarah Wolek and our other Sarah, Sarah Love, as well as Delegate Mark Corman and Deputy Delegate Harrison Corman, we just want to say thank you. We're so excited to be here and celebrate this day with you. And in the interest of time, I think that's it. Does anyone else have anything? Okay, so get to know us, especially get to know the new Sarah Wolek, and we're really happy to be part of your community, representing you in Annapolis and celebrating this exciting day today.
Wow, write this day down. That was pretty fast. We don't do these because they're just cool ideas. They're cool ideas, but we do these for clients. I'm the county's developer. I'm their builder. So I have an internal client and customer, and that in this case is the Department of Libraries. And in a moment, I'm going to have the director come up and share some thoughts, but it is a delight to work with the Department of Libraries. They're very detailed, very focused. They know what they want. They know what they don't want. And but we work very, very well with them. I'm looking at my team, and everyone agrees. It's a great partnership. And so I'm going to ask Director of Libraries, Anita Vassallo, to come up. Normally, when I build a building, a new building, I have a key, because it's a building and all buildings have keys. But this building existed already, and so it already had a key. But what it needed was a welcome mat. So we are going to present this welcome back plaque to the Department of Libraries. Director Vassallo, welcome back.
Since I'm speaking last, I'll be really brief. So I'm Anita Vassallo. I'm the director of Montgomery County Public Libraries. I'm not going to say anything about libraries because libraries have been given ample kudos by the speakers before me. But we know how important this building is to the community, and we are very excited that we're here today to reopen it to you. I know you want to get into the library, but I'm going to thank a few folks who are here. First of all, our Potomac Library staff, who are over here behind the desk. They are extremely eager to get things underway and to speak to each one of you. So I know that they have missed this because they've been off at other libraries. Now we're back here in Potomac. I also want to thank Elizabeth Lang, who is our Assistant Facilities and Accessibility Project Manager. Elizabeth was the day-to-day lead for libraries on this project and worked with the staff from the Department of General Services and our other contractors and vendors. A huge thank you to Angelisa Hawes, who's somewhere over there. Angelisa is our Assistant Director for Facilities and ADA. She oversees these projects. She has the responsibility for all aspects of our construction, our refresh projects, and just keeping our buildings running day to day. As County Executive Elrich mentioned, this is our 13th refresh library, so again, thanks so much to my landlord, the Department of General Services Director David Dice. We do pay our rent on time, and the DGS Division of Building Design and Construction team. All 13 renovations. They've done a great job. Some very specific thank yous to the Potomac Friends of the Library chapter, who provided funding of $40,000 to help with the renovation of the staff kitchen break room. This included demolition, paint, new appliances, new cabinetry, and new flooring. There were some real challenges with this building which are not evident just by looking at it, but there were things that had to be dug up and repaired that were not anticipated. Also, a huge thank you to the Potomac Village Garden Club. They've been working on the plantings for this library for many years, and the lovely gardens, the Peter Rabbit herb garden, the other things that you see outside are as a result of their hard work, and they maintain these gardens during the renovation project. I know that not always seeing eye to eye with what was being done by the contractors, but I think the result is beautiful. When people ask how they can improve the grounds around their library, it is only by the work of volunteers, and I think Potomac shows that. One of the loveliest library locations of our 21 buildings. A special thank you to the Winston Churchill Jazz Ensemble, who's providing entertainment for today. A thank you to our Friends of the Library Montgomery County, the nonprofit 501c3 that supports library programs. They are registering volunteers at a table back there, as is the Potomac Library Advisory Committee. So if you're interested in becoming more involved with this library, the library system in general, please do talk to the representatives from the FOLMC and the LAC. And as was said, thank you all. This is your library. It's a community library, and we're very glad to return it to you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will. And then the last speaker that we're going to have today is a community member, Wei Lu, who is our, come on up, our vice chair of the Potomac Library Advisory Committee, and she's going to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, and good morning. Good morning, Montgomery County Executive Marc Elrich, and good morning all council members and the state delegates. Good morning, friends of library and the members of Potomac Library Advisory Committee, and dear friends. My name is Wei, and I'm the co-chair of Potomac Library Advisory Committee. On behalf of the committee, I'm so very pleased to welcome you all to the grand reopening of the Potomac Library. As an immigrant, the library is a safe harbor to me. My first experience with the library was when I had my first English as a second language class at the Bethesda Library many years ago.
I read almost their entire collection of Chinese books. And in those books, I found a trace of home. Back then, it was just 2 shelves in a small bookcase. Looking at the library now, we have an entire foreign language book collection with rows of filled bookcases. My experience with the library continued with my kids, who grew up in the library, literally. We came to the library every week because the library offers so many fun activities and programs, from story time, arts and crafts, to after-school study session with their friends. And the best of all, it is all free. But what defines the library experience? Ray Oldenburg, in the book, The Great Good Place, introduced the concept of a third place, separate from our home and work, that refers to places where people can exchange ideas freely, share our commonality, and build relationships that make a community. The library is a perfect example of a third place. It is not just a place of knowledge and wisdom. It is a place of discovering new passions and imaginations. It is a community hub where people connect to one another from all walks of life. The library gives my kids, now young adult, and me so much joy, and it enriched our lives. We love the library. That's why I decided it was time for me to give back. I have been a member of the Potomac Library Advisory Committee since 2018. It's been a wonderful 5 years. I met so many library enthusiasts, volunteers, and patrons. The work has been extremely rewarding and personally gratifying, and there is still more to be done. Today, as we reopen our doors, I ask of you to join us to support the library and the community. Anyone is welcome to apply to be a member of the Library Advisory Committee or to be a volunteer and visit often. We always welcome your comments and suggestions. The library is your place. Together, we build a community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, the moment has come. So we're about to cut a ribbon, and as soon as the ribbon is cut, the Winston Churchill Jazz Ensemble will begin playing, and let's hear it again for the Jazz Ensemble. They're fantastic. County council members, delegates, everyone's up here. County executive, you are going to lead us.
Everybody, before you cut, will everybody please look up for pictures, and then I'll give you a count of 3 and we'll all cut at the same time. But for the time being, please look for the photographers for their photos.
Just look at the phone. Just look at the one phone.
Okay, we're good. Ready? On my count, we'll go on 3. 1, 2, 3. Cut.